Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, one of America's truly great, historic, and economically important cities. Birthplace of American democracy and home today for 1.5 million people. Philadelphia is also home to 31 Fortune 1000 companies, U.S. headquarters for 19 foreign corporations, and a major transportation and logistics hub. It's one of America's richest cultural, academic, and entertainment centers, a vibrant, healthy city, especially for those fortunate enough to be among the wealthy and well-to-do. But an apartheid Philadelphia is emerging. Long-term chronic unemployment is well above that of Boston or New York, with catastrophic unemployment levels affecting many middle-aged adults and no or low-paying jobs for the young. Rampant foreclosures and abandoned buildings blight entire neighborhoods. Philadelphia has over 40,000 vacant properties and thousands of residents with no place to call home. It has the second highest poverty rate among America's 20 most populous cities. A financially failing school system is shortchanging an entire generation of children, reeling from a $280 million payout to Wall Street for their interest rate swap hustle. The city itself has lost another $331 million to Wall Street from interest rate swaps, and it stands to lose hundreds of millions more. Middle-class workers are being told that the municipal budget can only be balanced with pay cuts and cuts to their hard-earned retirement income. At the heart of this crisis is a predatory banking system centered on Wall Street that precipitated an economic catastrophe which has cost average Americans, the 99%, trillions of dollars, even as those who caused the catastrophe grow ever more obscenely wealthy. Banksters, who reap the rewards of massive fraud in a system which fails utterly to perform its most basic and essential mission, that of providing affordable credit and capital for locally driven economic development and the jobs and prosperity that follow. The word is that Philadelphia is going the way of Detroit, nearly broke and soon unable to meet its obligations to employees, citizens, children, and creditors. But wait. The city of Philadelphia and its agencies and authorities have more than $6.4 billion in investments, so it isn't really broke at all. Again, the people of the city of Philadelphia own a portfolio of investments amounting to more than $6.4 billion. The stark contrast of Philadelphia debt and deterioration, set against the surprising reality of its significant financial assets, raises a central question. Why? Why isn't the full financial strength of Philadelphia put to work to preserve, protect, enhance, and create prosperity for all its residents? Why aren't we able to achieve real progress on our most pressing needs and invest in our most promising opportunities? The answer is that while many talk of doing something different, something out of the box, so far it has been all talk. But Pennsylvania Project Chairman Mike Krause thinks that now is the time to actually get Philadelphia out of the box and create a new model of municipal finance, a public bank of Philadelphia.
Philadelphia looks like the kind of place where we could really put public banking to good use. This city is hurting. Everybody knows it. There's no help coming from Washington. There's no help coming from Harrisburg. You look at what happened in Detroit, and you can see that cities are looking for new ways to deal with municipal finances, new creative ways, really not just saying out of the box, but actually being out of the box. We think public banking is that kind of out-of-the-box thinking that can really make an impact on how the city manages its assets and its resources and puts into better use for the people of this city.
So what is a public bank, and how does it work?
In order to protect taxpayers' money, you've got to put it where it's safe. County treasurers or those who have fiduciary responsibility generally have three criteria for where they put the money. It must first and foremost be secure. It must be liquid. They have to be able to get their hands on it when they need it. And then they look for return. Return has never been the big driver of where a county treasurer puts the money. It's got to be safe and it's got to be liquid. We're making the argument that the biggest banks on Wall Street really aren't safe. that they've got so much exposure in derivatives and who knows what else, they're in danger of going down and taking depositors with them. We think money is much safer closer to home. It's also more productively used. All the money Philadelphia has on deposit, let's say Wells Fargo, that money's not being put to work in Philadelphia. Let's put the money locally where it can be put to use in Philadelphia. There are a couple ways to do that. One is, of course, put it in your own bank. That's our preferred method. Start your own bank and put the money there.
A public bank of Philadelphia would keep local tax revenues and public investments circulating in the city's economy and neighborhoods, investing in the future of Philadelphia instead of letting these funds be siphoned off by Wall Street and the global banking cartel. A public bank of Philadelphia would partner with community banks, credit unions, and economic development agencies to direct affordable credit into mission-driven neighborhood development, public interest investment, and job creation.
It needs to take some part of this city's assets, form its own bank, and then put those assets to work. Leverage them like any bank does, but not as a commercial bank, not as a direct lender to anybody, but rather working through existing community banks to increase their lending into the markets that they serve and to reach new markets also at the same time. So it's a way of multiplying the ability of local banks and credit unions and development agencies to get their job done, but giving them far bigger resources with which to get those jobs done.
It would be a transparent and accountable city financial institution that protects public assets, puts the commonwealth to work for the common good, increases municipal financial flexibility, reduces municipal and school district indebtedness, put an end to dependence on Wall Street predators and con men, and enable a host of other initiatives that today sit on the hopeful shelf of someday future investments. Proof that public banking works is best shown in the state of North Dakota, where America's only public bank has been the central financial engine for their continuing prosperity for the past 94 years. The Bank of North Dakota is North Dakota's own central bank, disconnected from the policies and practices of the Federal Reserve and Wall Street. Several facts prove this case. While Wall Street banks around the world collapsed and destroyed the prosperity of hundreds of millions globally, the Bank of North Dakota didn't even notice, required no bailouts, and went right on lending into the state's economy and communities. With a population size of about 1/3 that of Philadelphia, the Bank of North Dakota boasts more than $6 billion loaned into the state's economy and contributes about $30 million a year to state revenue instead of taxes, and helps produce consistent state surpluses. North Dakota has the lowest foreclosure rate in the nation, the lowest unemployment in all 50 states for over a decade, virtually free financing of public works projects, more than double the national average of community bank offices per capita, and no bank failures for over 20 years. And this powerhouse public bank consistently pays rates of return far above the returns on the investments of cities like Philadelphia or its pension funds. Terrific, right? Yes, but there's one more difference even more impressive. The bank was just doing its job of carrying out its mandate and mission to use public funds to serve the public interest. Support for businesses, agriculture, families, communities, citizens, students, economic development, and job creation is North Dakota's public bank mission. Philadelphia's public bank will need its own mission. What should it be? What could it be? What critical areas of city life, institutions, infrastructure, and neighborhoods do you think should be included in Philadelphia City Council deliberations on the mission and purpose of a new public bank of Philadelphia? Create good-paying jobs. Deliver a world-class, first-class public education for our children. Protect and enhance the quality and health of our environment, the usefulness and efficiency of our infrastructure, and the effectiveness of our city institutions. Please think this through. Philadelphia needs you and your vision of what the new economy and future of our city might be. Because with our public bank behind us, we can actually afford it. It's an exciting new opportunity and a game changer.
The question why is it important to do this now is because many of us think that there's so much time left. The concentration of wealth has gotten so great that there's a danger we're going to reach a tipping point when it's going to be very, very difficult, short of a revolution, to regain broadly shared political power and broadly shared prosperity for the great majority of the American people. And also it's important now because, as we've just seen, Detroit declaring bankruptcy, for example, cities are running out of options. The old way of doing things, of tied to this boom-bust cycle, we need to get around that. I believe in American democracy. I think it's being stolen from us. I think what I learned in college a long time ago, that in any government, political power flows from wealth. And when wealth is highly concentrated, then so too political power is concentrated. So to deconcentrate political power, maintain a democracy here, we have to deconcentrate wealth. And the power will flow just that way. 30 years ago, this country had a very strong middle class, highly democratic country, because wealth was spread broadly among the population. Now it's highly concentrated in the 1%, as we like to call them. Well, that's real. And here's the 99%. Well, all this wealth over here, that also concentrates political power. I believe in democracy. I want a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
If you are watching this video, you're invited to help make it happen. A public bank of Philadelphia is vital to protect the city from a debt slide into becoming another Detroit, and instead create a new and local financial engine committed to creating wealth and security in every neighborhood of the city. The Public Bank of Philadelphia will belong to you. This is a nonpartisan grassroots initiative to simply take back control of our money from Wall Street and reinvest it in Philadelphia's main streets. That's just common sense, and it's high time we use it. We look forward to your contributions to this effort, with thanks in advance.